Alright, here's the stats, guys. For last week, which I only traded Friday, this is what happened. Yeah, I know. I kind of went overboard, didn't I? For those who don't know, who haven't watched my game plan series, I'm trying to make $10,000 following the top step rules before I actually go and try to get funded for top step. And at the moment, I am in drawdown. I only have $675 to work with, but I want to break down what happened last week, because this is what last week looked like. Okay, that's tame. That's very tame, but let me show you the micro contracts. Yeah, I know. What was I thinking? What was I doing? Why was I trying to go long, and then why did I start going short? Well, let's first start off with, what's the point of this? Why should you even be watching me, right? If I'm not profitable, why are you watching me? Well, you're watching me because you probably just started and you're probably trying to get funded and you're rushing it. You probably work a part-time job or a full-time job and you want to make it as a trader, and you're thinking, if I could just see some money, if I could just get some money off of these accounts, I'll quit my job and I'll become a full-time trader and I'm gonna be rich by the time I reach 30 or maybe 40. Well, I was in that phase last year where I thought if I just passed my funded challenge account, then all my issues would get resolved, and it's not like that. Because you're still gonna have that anxiety of losing that account. And so the reason you should watch me is because I'm trading a paper account before I do a fund challenge account. Because a lot of the times we skip the step of doing the paper trading account and we just move to the funded account. Why? Because it's simple, it's easy, and it feels productive. That's the secret on why we do a funded challenge account. Because if we lose it, we're just going to spend another $50 to refund our account, right? It's only $50, and it feels productive. Why? Because if we do pass it, then that means I worked hard for something. It means I will be able to make money now. But we're only delaying ourselves. And I was delaying myself the whole time 2 years ago when I was just starting out off, because I thought if I get funded, if I go and try to get funded, I'm gonna be productive. I'm gonna possibly be able to make real money, right? But all it did was hinder my learning experience, and it hindered me from actually looking at the charts themselves. And that's the message of this video. Why am I doing a paper account? Why not just use a funded account? It's only $50. It is $50. But the problem is, I'm gonna think, because I'm seeking to get funded, I'm being productive. In reality, I'm not being productive at all, because one, I'm losing $50, and two, it's putting unnecessary pressure on myself. I'm not saying live streaming isn't unnecessary pressure either, because it is. I'm just putting too much unnecessary pressure where I should be using a demo account where I'm not spending $50 and I'm not spending the additional $150 to activate it. I'm working on a paper account, on a paper sim, before I could go to a funded account, because nobody wants to say they're doing sim trading, especially on YouTube. No trader, no one out there wants to say, oh yeah, I sim trade on YouTube. No, nobody wants to say that, because it's not, you don't sound like a man. You don't sound like him when you say, I do sim trading. I'm not ashamed of it. But that's the main takeaway. The main takeaway is, do sim trading before you try and get funded. Because if you try getting funded, you're just, let's say you do pass. Let's say the stars align for you, because if you pass and you don't do the sim trading, in my opinion, is you're not gonna keep that funded challenge account for long. But let's say you do, right? You were able to pass it. You're gonna be way too focused on the money. You're gonna be way too focused on not blowing it now. And why? Because when you first started doing it, you were doing it as a joke. You were doing it as a, well, let's just see what happens. If I get funded, awesome. If I don't, which you were really counting on, you weren't gonna get funded. It would have been okay. Oh, whatever. At least I tried, right? Tried. But that's why I'm using a paper account. I will do a funded challenge account at the moment. Actually, I'll be honest. The last two, well, before the year started, I was thinking, why don't I just do a funded challenge account? I know I'll easily pass the 50K account with Topstep. That's so easy to pass. I know I could pass it. Why don't I just do that? And by doing so, I'll probably encourage somebody else to do it. And when I said that in my brain, I was like, that's why not. I'm not going to do it, because if I do the funded challenge account and I pass it, then, well, even if I don't pass it, even if I just do the funded challenge account and I post it on a title, it's going to inspire somebody to start doing a funded challenge, because I know that inspired me. I know when I saw a bunch of YouTube ads on my feed saying, "Oh, pass my challenge account. How pass your 50 challenge account?" I would get motivated. I would be impulsive. It'd be impulsive motivation to just go out there, buy an account, and get my ass handed to me. So I realized, how about I do a paper account and I'll motivate somebody. I'll motivate that 2023 Francis. You know, me 2 years ago. Or wait, 2023, yeah, well, me, yeah, two years ago now. Me 2 years ago to not do a funded challenge account and stick to the paper train, and then move to the funded challenge account. So that's my main goal at the moment. My main goal is to just show the world that I could do it on paper, right, on a paper sim account, and then I'm gonna go in a funded account, and from a funded account, I'm gonna hopefully do live trading. But that's way out in the future. That's like in that's in my game plan series. The first video I talked about when I'm planning on doing the funded challenge account. But that's the goal. The goal is to motivate you to stay in paper sim in a sim account until you gain your confidence. I've gained consistency, and that's why I've decided to start live streaming. But one thing I didn't take account was the stress of actually live streaming and trading at the same time. It's 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 unnecessary pressure on me, but it's pressure I'm willing to go under, because let's be honest, it's an ego thing. I really just want to show what I'm able to do in these markets. It's an ego thing, and that brings me to my next topic. Why did I take so many losses on Friday? Why? What was this all about? Right? What was going on? And it was an ego thing. I I knew the key level. Right? Let's go to the analysis, so I don't sound like I'm talking out of my ass. I had a key level. My key level was that right there. You could go to my live stream and you'll see that I call it out before I leave, and I call it out in advance. But in the video, I want you to watch it so you can analyze me. It's not so you can see me trade, but it's for you to analyze the person I am. Be like, oh, okay, I see where he feels, and I could see where I can feel. Look at the way I was saying I want this key level to be hit, right? It was this key level, and I had I had Friday, December 20th, and Sunday, December 22nd, new week opening gap as my target. I didn't mention that, but my target was that red PD array, that one right there. I promise. Go on my live stream and you'll see it. But that was my target. This was my target. Did I do it wrong? Give me a sec. Yeah, well, that was my target, and I was changing biases, and the reason for that was I didn't want to take a loss live. I been working on that in my journaling, where I've said, if I take a loss, it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't care. It doesn't matter. Everybody takes a loss. But once I'm live, once I have the camera light on me, I'm thinking, shit. I'm in the arena. Either I start cutting some heads off, or my head's getting cut off. And when I saw these consecutive down close candles, I was going long. But then once this candle took me out, I then got scared. I was like, okay, I got stopped out. And when I got that stopped out, I was like, oh shit. I was dissociating. I was like, oh shit, I'm crawling in my shell right now. And when I saw the down close candles, I did something that I worked so hard to overcome in the beginning. I have my journal from last year. Literally around this year, I was working on this thing where I was trading based off the color of the candles. What I mean by that is, you see a down close, you see another down close, you see another down close. You're like, well, the safest option now is if I go lower. It took me a month to realize what I was doing. I would record myself, right? I have recordings I never posted, but I have recordings of myself where I would do what I do now, where I just speak vocally on what I see, and I'd be like, okay, there's a down close, I should just go short to be safe. And on Friday's live stream, in my head, I was like, shit, okay, I'm gonna just play it safe and go short, because now I've taken a loss, and now everybody's gonna say, see, you're talking all this smack, and yet you're taking losses. And I was like, I'm going short, I don't care, I'm going short, because that's the safest at the moment. Not realizing that the color of the candles don't do anything to the market. The color of the candles are like smoke screen. It's an illusion, because and we can see it here. It was going down and it starts going up. And obviously in a sell program, when it's going down, you do want to trade on side the candles, but we weren't in a sell program. We were in a buy program. Why were we in a buy program? Because we had that 6-month wick, first, second quarter. So this is first, second quarter. That's a concept I've dubbed, and that I guess, yeah, well, that's the name, FSQL. That's why I call it first, second quarter levels. First, second quarter levels are the main key levels I want to always focus my attention at. And then anything above first, second quarter level, right now, this would be a premium. Now let's say the roles were reverse. First, second quarter levels, and this is a discount, deep discount. This is a deep premium. That's my concept. I've created it. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But I looked at that. Well, the reason I say it's my concept is because that's my model. It's not my full model, but it's part of my model. So I want you to understand where it's all tying down. I have a model. I see my model in my left monitor. I see it, right, happening in action, but I take that loss, and I'm thinking not about the charts anymore. I'm not thinking about the higher time frame anymore. I'm thinking about, what's the audience gonna say? What are they gonna do if I take a loss? They're going to call me a fraud. They're going to say shit. They're going to say I should give up, and nobody's saying anything. It's all in my head. But I see these down close, and I'm thinking, okay, we should start going lower. Well, no, I see the down close. I'm gonna place it. I'm just gonna short. But my model is saying no, we're going higher. And I even have this annotated in my charts. Go on my live stream and see. It's annotated before the fact. And I'm thinking, okay, it wants to go here. I know it wants to go here, but I can't take another loss. So the issue that day was pride. It was my ego. My plan going forward is having meditations. When I'm live streaming, it doesn't feel like I could walk away anytime I want. I feel like I need to get in, and I need to make money on top of that. And a meditation that I could use to help me overcome that desire or that feeling that I need to get in is by saying I can walk away anytime I want. When I start feeling anxious, I'm gonna start saying this, because many times when I'm trading, I feel like I need to get in when I don't have to. I could walk away anytime I want, and I forget that at times. So using this as a meditation, I'll probably overcome that battle of getting in when I shouldn't get in. And I think another thing that will help me overcome, what would help me stop viewing losing as a bad thing, is love and serving others. Because winning and wanting to getting the best exit is pride and selfish. It's prideful and it's selfish. So if I focus on love and if I focus on serving others, losing won't be as hard. The way I serve you is by taking losses and showing you what I do after I lose, showing you that it's normal, that no matter how many losses, because for me personally, I'm not quitting. I'm not giving up on this. So if I take a loss, I'm going to come back, and not even that, I'm going to tell you how I feel emotionally, mentally, where I am. And last week when I was trading, when I first started trading live, I felt angry. And because I felt angry and because I wanted it sooner, because the plan was I'm gonna do a funder account privately. I'm gonna do it, and once I have my own capital, I'm gonna start live streaming. And now the goal is live stream myself first, so then I could get the confidence once I start using real money. And I'm not giving up on that goal of using my own income and live streaming it on top of that. But I have to first prove that I can make money on a paper account before I even go on a demo, before I even go on a combine. I gotta prove that I could do this, and then on top of that, do it live. But love and wanting to serve you guys is what I'm gonna use to help me stop idolizing losing, because I idolize losing in the way of it can't happen, it's a bad thing, it's bad, and it's not bad, it's a good thing. I when I first was gaining consistency, once I saw consistency, losing was exciting, because every time I would lose, I would gain some new wisdom. I would gain some new knowledge, So I'm excited to lose now, to see what I'm mentally able to take. Like when it comes to my pride, when it comes to my desire to want to help others, because I could take a loss and cover up, not talk about it, put it under the rug and be like, yeah, that never happened. But I want to focus on my losers going forward with this series that I'm doing. I want to show you guys my losses, all of them, and how I feel mentally, where I am mentally, and what I want to do going forward. And what I want to do going forward, now that you've seen me take losses, is I want to do that meditation of, if I don't see a setup, if I don't feel here, if I don't feel like I'm all here, like I can't because I'm too in my head, I could walk away. And I feel like that's a bigger lesson in itself, just being able to walk away when you have everything on the table, or what it feels like. It feels like you have everything on the table, right? When you're in a position, or when you're sitting in the trading seat, you think you're here now, you're stuck, you must perform, and you don't. And I'm gonna try to overcome that. I'm gonna try to remind myself of that. But yeah, love and serving you guys. That's what I want to improve on going into next week. Next week I want to practice that, and not focus too much on the losses. Well, not focus on the negative side of the losses of, oh shit, if I lose, it's gonna make me look bad. No, if I lose, my mindset is, if I lose and come back from it, because that's a problem. I must come back from it. If I lose and I come back from it, it's gonna motivate somebody else. It's gonna show someone else that it's okay to get back up. It's okay to take a loss, and it's okay to get back up, and it's okay to keep going forward, even if you haven't seen profitability. Because in this career, you're not gonna see a single penny. Or for me, in that case, I have not seen a single penny in the last 2 years. I've been trying to do this for 3 years now. I have not seen a single penny in the last 2 years. And when I put myself in the shoes of an outsider, right? When I put myself in the shoes of an outsider, that sounds crazy. I sound like a gambler. I sound like somebody who's lost all common sense of, you're losing, you're not gaining anywhere, and yet you're still trying. Yeah, I'm still trying. I'm not giving up. It's not about giving up. It's more of a, I'm not letting losses become losses, because every loss to me is a new learning experience. And if being honest, in the past 3 years, I've learned so much when it comes to wisdom, when it comes to knowledge about the stock market. I am a rich man, but when it comes to money, I'm not yet, and that's okay, because I have faith. I'm not giving up. I have faith, and that little delusion I have, I want to share that with others. And if I'm able to at least show you that I could have made something, or show you that I didn't give up, that's more important to me than showing, look at me, I was able to call this tick, or look at me, I was able to see these relative equal highs and call it before the fact. And I did. Go on the live stream, I promise. I did. And also, I feel my age plays a big part in it. I feel like being 20 is the reason why I am overly prideful, because I want the attention, and like I've mentioned multiple times, and that's a roadblock that I'm working on at the moment. and I honestly think it has something to do with my age. I think the older I get, the more mature I'll become, and the more mature I'll become, I'll focus more on what's important. But I guess I'm gonna leave it at that. The reason this happened was because I was too focused on my external appearance. and I wasn't focusing on these markets. I was overthinking my logic because I didn't want to lose, and that caused me to lose. But yeah, the narrative came from this chart. This chart. The losses, me trying to go short, came from not looking at this chart. And what I'm about to show you, you might not think it's important at the moment, but for me, not looking at this chart has caused me to not be as precise. It's caused me to know where the market's going, but not know with confidence, because I fail to look at the regular trading hour chart, because look at it. Just look at it. When you see this, you're turned away because it's spotty, it's messy. It's not as clear as the other charts, but what the other charts don't have, and this is a ICT concept, is an opening range gap. You see this opening range gap. I'm gonna just take the monthly first quarter fib off. Now, where is it? There we go. Look at this chart. Give me a sec. Okay, look at this chart. Look at where I'm putting this arrow. I mean this line. This is the opening 9:30. That's where that low was made at 9:30. Do you see how it doesn't tag first, second quarter levels? This is first, second quarter levels. This is a deep discount. This FSQL is my concept. I've invented it. I've created it. It's part of my model. It is not my model, but it's a tool I use in my model. Price tag a PD array over here. The PD array that was here was an implicit fair value gap. That's an ICT concept. He doesn't talk that much about it, but it was there right here. I'll just show you. Let's see, can you find it before I could call out? Where's the implied fair value gap? Sometimes I confuse it with my implicit fair value gap. Implicit fair value gap is my concept. That's what I've invented. That's mine. But the implicit, the implicit fair value gap is my concept. The implied fair value gap is ICT's concept. This is an implied fair value gap. ICT doesn't talk about it much, but it's his. This is the PD array I was looking at. This was the footprint I was basing my trades off on the weekly. And this was my narrative. And we tag it, and then we leave relatively equal highs. So this was my footprint. So now you're probably wondering, I thought this was your footprint. Footprint is not an order block. A footprint can be retail logic. That's also my concept. I've created footprints. Footprints is my thing. But look at how we tag it over here. We then come back down to the opening range gap. We come back to first, second quarter of the opening range gap. Where is it? Right there. So around 9, price tags the implied fair value gap, and now it's retracing. Where do I, just look at it, where do you think it's going to go next? If we tagged a daily PD array, where should we go next? Just by looking at the regular trailing hours, we should go to the opening range gap. Now, first and second quarter levels are where I want to see price have the most sensitivity to. Not always, but most of the time, yes. And we see that happening. We see that happening right there in every chart. In every chart, we see that sensitivity going on. What can I do here? Oh. Let me turn this back to a regular contract. Yeah, we see that going on. There's this footprint right here. This is a footprint. This is a footprint. Goes back down to the footprint. This is a well, here, so I don't confuse you. This is a footprint. Leave that. Now look at this candle right here. At 11, the 10 a.m. 1 hour candle has been established. Look at the wick. Now look at the body. It's the body here. Look at that. Let's take this off. It's the body of this candle. We don't know about this candle, but the body of this candle. Is it not respecting first, second quarter of the previous candle's range? It is. The wick did the damage, but the body is telling you the story. So that was my signature that price wanted to go higher. But in the live stream, I saw this right here, and I was trading the colors of the candles instead of the institutional sponsorship. The institutional sponsorship here, look at that. You're probably wondering, what are you talking about? I'm talking about this right here. I'm talking about that. You see that? That's strong, bullish institutional sponsorship. But this right here was my signature. Price only going to the first, second quarter level was my signature that price wanted to go higher, stronger. Just so you don't forget, first, second quarter levels. First, second quarter levels. That's a tool. That's a concept on its own. And then this is my PD array that I've invented. Not invented. I programmed. But this is my PD array. It's called an implicit fair value gap. It's mine. Nobody else has taught it. It does not belong to anybody. It's mine. I've dubbed it. And if I see it anywhere else, I'm gonna start calling every PD array I own a Francis gap or a Francis block. Just so, look at that. This is called an implied fair value gap. Implied fair value gap. I've invented it. I created it. It's mine. God-given. Quite honestly, yes, God-given. It hit that. It's right here. This is the inverse version of it. Look at how it's respecting it there, respecting there. We have it here. That's nice. That's nice. This is the same thing. This is like an invisible gap. From here, there. You see that? Clean. Like, once you start trading for a while, you start seeing a bunch of PD arrays. Like, ICT says he has like 81 PD arrays. I believe him, but I don't believe they're like what is, you know how I say this is like, I'm talking about this like it's like the best thing in the world. It's a PD array, you see it every day, but it's not like the Fair Valley Gap. I envy ICT because of the Fair Valley. The Fair Valley Gap is special. It's unique, right? It's hard to explain. When do I use these invisible gaps, right? When do they occur? It's hard to explain that. But I do believe he has 81 PD arrays. They're just not that cool. I guess they're not that cool. But Fair Valley Gap, you can't lie. You can't complain and say Fair Valley Gap is not just special. It's unique. Look at that. Look at that. Do you not get turned on by that? Like, this is what I breathe. This is what I live for. Only a tick off. But look at how clean that is. Oh my gosh. And then the bodies are respecting consequential encouragement. That is clean. That is art. That's like a fast sports car to me. Just seeing this is the feeling of getting inside a supercar, a Bugatti. It's so just it's so real. I don't know. I love seeing stuff like this. So yeah, I envy ICT I envy ICT for figuring out the Fair Valley Gap first. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Going into next week, my goal, simple, do meditations. For those who don't know, meditating is not just sitting in a room. Meditating is saying affirmations in your head. It's saying quotes, that could help you kind of cognitively look outside yourself and be like, is this worth it? Are these feelings aligned with your goals? Are you going along with your plan? Those are meditations. A meditation I want to implement, like I said, is I don't have to trade. I don't have to perform. And one important one is, am I doing this out of love or pride? Am I serving others, or I'm doing it out of selfish intent? Those are the ones I want to constantly be reminding myself while I'm live streaming, while I'm trading, and I hope that you'll see me improve, and I'll keep you guys updated, obviously, about whether it's helped me, if I'm following along with my procedures. I think at the moment it's just getting in Spanish there's this word, it's called mania. I just need to get mania. If I just keep on showing up, and if I just keep on working, and I keep on re-examining and analyzing and improving, I will get live streaming. I'm gonna get it down, and I'll be able to help you guys and also help myself in the process. Because at the moment, what I really want is to make money. I believe in myself. I believe that if I just got a 50K account, I could pass it easily. And I want to do that, but I just know if I can't do it on a paper account live, I'm not going to be able to do it on a funded account live. So the goal here is we got to do this shit live. And if we're able to do it live, then we'll be able to do the sim account, the combine live. We'll be able to do the combine live, and then do the live trading live. So those are the goals, those are the challenges.